Welcome back to Man on a Mission. I'm Pat Martins with Faith Lutheran Church in Jefferson City. Back on day one when I started this YouTube series, back in early January actually, I mentioned that my aim was to challenge you. I think this topic of prayer will do just that. Last week, I just grazed the surface by introducing you to the Echo Prayer app and our Mighty Warriors of Faith feed within the app. Just a way to ease you into prayer if you struggle with it. This week and in subsequent weeks, I want to get you starting to dip your toes further into the water when it comes to prayer. My gut feeling is that we just don't do enough praying, and when we do, it's pretty feeble at that. I know most of us are definitely not real comfortable praying in an open setting, it seems. Maybe I'm wrong. You tell me. When you pray, what kind of things do you pray about? So think about that a little bit. In the last week, what did you pray specifically about? Do you find yourself praying to God about supplying you with things, like what God can provide for you? Or say something like your protection and safety, or for that protection of a family member or friend. Maybe what God can do for you. How about prayers of thanksgiving for what He has already provided to you? That's always good. Nothing wrong with that. We definitely need to give thanks to God for all His gifts that He has provided to us. You kind of see the trend, though? It often becomes just about us. Instead of always asking God to do something for us or protection and safety for us, what if we ask God to reveal something in us? How about asking God to challenge us? Might be uncomfortable, but at least something that will make us grow in our relationship with God. Wouldn't that be a bold prayer? Craig Groeschel, I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right, he's the author of a book called Dangerous Prayers. And in his book, he lays out 3 prayers that if you have the courage to really pray them, can change your life and your relationship with God. I'll talk about number 1 today. The first one is, search me, God. What is it that makes you anxious or that you fear? Maybe something very relative today is the COVID virus. Possibly a job that has been lost, and how are you going to provide for your family? That unfavorable diagnosis at the doctor's office, maybe? What we fear most will often reveal to us where we trust God the least. So think about that. It also shows you where you need to grow with God. If you are stressing out over this pandemic, ask yourself, do I really trust that God is in control? I want to take this a step further, though, and tie it to missions. What about the word missions scares you? Is it a fear God may lead you down a path to go somewhere you don't want to go? Have you asked God to search you in that area of your life? Maybe that's a place where you can grow in your faith. And remember, the mission field is not always in some faraway country, as people seem to automatically think. Most of the time, the mission field is right where you are, your neighborhood, your job, your local community. So don't go freaking out that you're going to be asked overnight just to pack your bags and move to Africa. Probably not likely. There are needs everywhere you look around, and it is all the mission field. God has you right where you are for a reason. That's where He wants you working, His mission field. When you think about someone from the Bible seeking God, you may think of King David. Remember, he was a man after God's own heart and wrote many of the Psalms. A few sections make reference to search. For instance, a popular one is from Psalm 139, verses 23 and 24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Wow. Now that is a prayer. Here's another from Psalm 4, verse 4. In your anger, do not sin. When you are on your beds, search your hearts and be silent. How about that? When you are angry, don't sin. Man, that seems like when I'm doing my best sinning. When you are at rest, search your heart, but then be still and know He is God. And listen. What about you? What would it take to make you a man or a woman after God's own heart? Can you pray these types of prayers like the Psalms daily and really honestly mean it? Next week, we'll continue down this path and find an even more challenging prayer. Pray to God this week, though, to search you, and in doing so to direct you, to lead you, to guide you in who He wants you to be. I also want to remind you, if you have not subscribed to the Man on a Mission YouTube channel here, please hit the button in the bottom right corner to do that. And you can always go back and watch the other videos in this series, of which I have about a dozen or so of them out there. And keep working to be a man or a woman on a mission.